This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hey everybody, it's 19 Cats and Counting. We have been wanting to talk to a cat sitter for so long. You know, cats are a special breed. It's not just the same as the person who's taking care of your dog. And there are a lot of problems and things we need to be aware of. We have Racheline Maltese here. She works for Meowtel in the Brooklyn, New York City area. She's also a figure skater and a romance novelist. So I have questions about that, but we'll have to wait. Right back after word from the sponsor.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to 19 Cats and Counting. I am your co-host, Linda Hall, here with my dueling best friend and co-host, Rita Reimers.
We're making a bit of history here today,
Linda. We are making a bit of history, yes.
The difference in our recording studio, if you will, is that Linda and I are actually in the same place. And if you're watching this on video, you see that.
Yes.
We're never in the same place.
No, normally there's 3 screens, the Ohio screen, the South Carolina, and the guest.
South Carolina.
And here we are. Yes.
Here we are. For those of you keeping tally, still 19. Still
19.
19
still 19. Yes.
Those of you who have been following along know that Linda is now back to 11.
Yes.
She came home. She's very happy.
My beloved Kismet is home again. Yes.
But I'm excited about our guest because, as you know, I've owned Just for Cats Pet Sitting for about 17 years.
Yep.
Sold the business to Sonia Putkavich, Meowtel, and Linda helped me run the business for the last 4 years as our executive director.
Yep.
We have a wonderful Meowtel sitter here with us to talk about the ins and outs of pet sitting.
Yes, ma'am.
What pet sitters wish you knew, cat sitters, before you left town and all of that.
And what you can do to make your cat more comfortable. Well, we'll get all into that. Welcome, Racheline.
Thank
I'm so
you.
glad to see you. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
We're so excited.
Absolutely. I'm actually between cats right now. I had my morning shift. I have a dinner crew, so you catch me in the middle when I get a break.
Awesome.
I remember
Perfect.
those days. I was a pet sitter up until probably the last year.
Yeah. I had to make her. It was like she was just running too crazy. And I'm like, you've got to stop sitting and just focus on the business. And then we moved to behavior.
That's one of the reasons I came back to South Carolina. I thought, because I started the business in LA. I thought if I'm not there, people can't request me, right? So I could just run the business. Yeah.
And then she started
Then we
here,
ended up
but
starting here. But anyway, it's like an addiction, isn't it? You can't quit once you start. You fall in love with these little creatures.
You really do. You really do have a relationship with them. And because I tend to specialize in cats that are difficult, that gets me certain categories of cats. And some of them are cats with behavior issues, but I get a lot of super seniors and a lot of cats with medication. So it's very much situations where the pet parents, only trust me with the cat, or the cat is 19 or 20 or 21 and you just don't want to introduce any changes. So there's always that thing where somebody will reach out and be like, can you squeeze me in? And I should say no, and I never do.
I know. We were the same
that.
way. And we had some sitters like Melanie when she worked for us. She'd have, like at the holidays, she'd have 22, 23 sits. And then one of her special clients would come in. And she's like, I'd like, you have the keys. We need to assign this to someone. No, I'll fit, I don't know
Margot
how
was
she
like
did it.
that too. Margot was
My
from
high
France, so
my
we
high
love
was 24.
Dexter. You're really being helpful.
Like changing our
Yes,
word
Margot
here.
was from France, so we love making fun of her accent. But yes, we'd send her something and say, because if one of your clients wrote to us to book, it's, we got to offer this to you first. But we'd say, we know you have 8,000 clients on that day, so we'll substitute out. And she'd always say, I will do, and it'd be just like, that's my favorite. I will do. Yes, there's some of these stick with us. But, I was surprised when I started working for the company. I remember a cousin of mine, I told her what I was doing, and she's like, for cats? People pay for that? They do not understand, right? Do people just think that you're going around playing with fluffy kittens all day? And it's great.
I don't think they even think that. I think people who don't have cats think I just like go in, change the water, drop some food down,
And leave.
and get out. Like people who are not cat people do not understand how social they are as animals. And they don't understand how smart and complex they are. And that if you don't keep them busy, they're probably going to do something you don't want them to do.
Oh,
Exactly.
And we get some behavior calls like that too. The most recent one we had, she has a Maine Coon, and the Maine Coon, they're very intelligent, right? So a lot of the havoc she's wreaking is because she's bored.
Yeah, I actually just had a Maine Coon client, and the cat was very territorial. And the human client didn't really convey that to me in advance. So I go to visit the cat, beautiful cat. We had a great meet and greet. I go to visit the cat. It's at night, and I can't find the light switch in the apartment.
Oh,
Such
I
a
hate
weird
that.
thing that I didn't think to ask about. So I'm in the dark, stumbling around looking for the lights, and this Maine Coon shoots out of nowhere, claws my ankle open, and I'm just like, okay, this is super not her fault. This is my fault for not knowing where a light switch is. But again, knowing that certain breeds can be certain ways, or that an individual can be a certain way, is like super important. And Maine Coons are gorgeous, but they also need a lot of attention because you have to brush their coats. If somebody's going away for a week or 2 weeks, you can't just let them do whatever they're going to do.
It's true.
There was a celebrity, and I can't think of who it was. He was on Dancing with the Stars once. But anyway, he left his cat home and went on vacation, and his cat turned the water faucet on and flooded the apartment.
I remember.
Oh my God, that's like my worst nightmare. Like stoves and water faucets are.
We had a sitter
absolutely
call us. She got in. The smell of gas was crazy. The cat had jumped up on the stove and flipped the switch. Gas is pouring into the apartment. She's, got the cat. She's got the window open. She's holding the cat near the window. She's trying to fan the place, get air in, and we had a lot of clients in the LA area. And like when the wildfires started, one of our sitters got to the house, and there's a note on the door that this place is evacuated. And she called us, and she's like, I'm taking this cat home, which is against our insurance, but the cat can't stay there. So the house is in danger. Yes.
And what if she couldn't get them all? What if she did?
Yes. We're like, get the cats. Is it okay if I bring my husband over and help? Yes. Do what you got to do.
That's been the most challenging, Racheline.
I think there's been like a range of things that have been difficult. One of the things that's hard, again, is clients just need to tell me what's going on. And also, no one actually knows how their cat's going to react to a sitter now.
That's true.
Because we've all been home from COVID for so long. So I joined Meowtel at the end of 2019, had like a great 3 or 4 months. COVID happened.
How you got into this, yeah.
Everything stopped dead. And then once the vaccine started rolling out, I've been busy since then the way I was busy at my first Christmas.
Wow.
Like every single weekend,
Everyone's
if I
trying
want
to
to
get
take
away.
10 cats, I can take 10 cats. Like that's how busy it is. So, but the thing is, these cats have been in their homes with their owners 24/7 for like a year and a half in some cases. So I had one client, 2 very sweet cats. One of them needed insulin, no problem. I have a lot of insulin cats. Most cats are super chill about it.
Sure.
Met the cats. The cats were totally fantastic. Client goes on holiday. The cat who needs the insulin has gone under the bed. If I walk into the room, it will start growling and screaming and hitting the underside of the bed. Because normally I just crawl under the bed and get the cat.
Right?
Like the cat is not okay. Luckily, the people's flight got canceled. So they came back because their flight got delayed for a day. I went over again. We worked out a strategy. Let's keep this door closed. Let's see what treat she likes. We came up with a whole strategy. They left again. The strategy worked, but that cat was super unhappy, super aggressive, didn't want her insulin shot. And that had nothing to do with me or the pet parents or her. It had to do with she literally hasn't been on her own or with strangers in 18 months.
Yes.
So that sort of stuff is really hard because, one, you have to make sure the cat's medically okay. And two, you just want them to feel okay and feel comfortable. And sometimes it's just not possible. And I think anybody who sits, and I'm sure you two know this, it'll say, oh, this is a 20-minute visit. But sometimes you're just hanging out talking to that animal for an hour, either because it doesn't do what you need it to do, or because you're just like, you just want it to feel better.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
the minimum visit we would ever do was 30. And sometimes with those special cats and special situations, that wasn't enough. And we'd often stay longer, which, if you've got a jam-packed day like on the holidays, it's really impossible.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Remember, we had one client that had us do a bunch of test sits because he was afraid his cat would react that way. But very few clients understand that and would be willing to pay for that. So what would you tell those clients who think their cat might be a problem? How would you preemptively avoid that situation?
The main thing that I've been asking clients to do now, where we seem to think there's an issue, is for me to come over for the regular meet and greet, and then me be just like, can you just pop outside to like go get a soda for like 5 minutes? Are you just comfortable leaving me alone in your apartment so we can see what the cat thinks about me here when you're not immediately
present? That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
It reassures the cat, because then their person comes back so quickly. I'm not seen as somebody who's like taking away their person. So I've started doing that. At the very least, it gives me the information I need.
That is so smart.
Very
yes.
smart.
Well, and you don't know how your cat's going to act. Catster had Rita, and I went with her and took part in it.
I'm just watching.
She had her do some videos on cat behavior, and so we had to bring her some of her cats. And so we were like, Simon and Colby, number one, they are everybody's greeters. They are the cats. They are going to be the superstars. And we decided to bring a third cat just in case.
Excuse me, I'm
Simon and Colby, who are truly the greeters of new cats, new people. I come in the door, they're there, hello, they're pushing everybody out of the way. They freaked out in a strange environment. Colby was underneath the dresser. We thought she'd escaped. We looked for him. We looked for him for I don't know how long. We thought we knew. And the third one that we took, he ended up being the star. He had it down. He let us do anything to him. But the other two were like, I'm out of here. Yeah. So you don't know how your cat's going to act when a change comes, when you're in a different environment or a different person comes in.
Yeah. And the other thing that I find is in multi-cat households, often they'll be like, oh, this is the shy cat. You won't see her. And the shy cat is the cat that's very social with me. I love
that.
Because the gregarious cat is actually just very attached to one of their humans and maybe more standoffish. So the assumption that a sitter will experience what you experience with your animal, even if it's not negative, is just never going to be true. It tends to be different.
Yes. Do we need to take a break before I ask a question? Are we there?
Yeah, we could take a little break early. Right. Let's break for a message from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with more exciting cat sit stories and strategies.
Hey, it's Linda and Rita from 19 Cats and Counting. Rita, what are you doing today?
Linda, I have so many chores to do. I just don't like doing them.
Like paying bills? I understand that.
And matching those socks from the dryer.
Yes, there's always missing socks.
I just don't know where they go.
Me either. And don't forget to add scooping litter to that list. How many boxes do you have?
For my 19 cats, I have 15 litter boxes. And look, everybody loves their little fur ball.
But it's the smell, the scooping, the scraping of stuck-on mess. What's the answer?
Arm & Hammer Slide Litter. The litter that slides right out. It leaves nothing behind. You may not love cleaning the litter box, but now you can just slide out the funk.
Arm & Hammer Slide Litter. More power to you.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
And we're back with 19 Cats and Counting. My co-host Linda Hall and our special guest Racheline. I wanted to ask you, You're in the New York City area, correct? Now, are you in a part of New York City that's densely populated, like you can walk to your sits, or do you have to deal with New York traffic?
I do not even know how to drive because I've lived in New York my whole life. So I can walk to my sits. I try to keep everything between a 1 and 3 mile radius so that I could walk in an emergency if I had to, because we have a lot more extreme weather than we used to. And I have had sits during blizzards and hurricanes and all sorts of things when the transit system has shut down. So one of the points that I always make to my clients is I will be there regardless of what the MTA does because I can get there. So
what a gift. Oh, I wish, have you ever thought about moving like to the Carolinas? Because I intend to get out of the Ohio snow eventually and I'm not going to New York, and you need to be my cat sitter because I just love everything out of your mouth.
But I don't know how to drive. So like I am actually super, super attached to
I will personally teach you how to drive. Take you for your lessons.
Even in LA, you have to drive. But we did have one sitter.
I was thinking
he
Adam
narrowed his territory so he could walk to everything because he and his wife were sharing a car.
Yes,
and that worked out. But for the most part, driving in that LA traffic was HE. So at least you don't have to deal with.
You don't know how to time things with LA traffic. Whereas New York, unless there's a crisis, it's pretty reliable that the trains will work. But I do try to avoid trains if it's something that's very time sensitive because some cats, their medication, 4 hours, whatever. But I literally have cat clients that take like 5 pills and a liquid every single day of the rest of their lives. And that's not a cat you want to be late to.
Exactly. And I love that you said that you work with behaviorally challenged clients. We've seen that. And we had one cat, Sweet Pepper. Pepper loved her daddy, but she had horrible anxiety about anybody else. She was a spicy pepper. She was named correctly. She's a spice. And literally, and this doesn't sound good, but it was necessary. They had to leave a broom by the door so that when the sitter came in, they could get the door. We weren't beating the cat, but sweep the cat away from you because the cat was going to eat your face.
We had a hard time finding a backup sitter for the regular sitter.
So yes, Cyan was the only one that could take Pepper. And in fact, when we sold the business, Cyan did not go over to Meowtel. And we were like, you can keep Pepper because nobody would touch Pepper with a 10-foot pole, that poor thing. And it's not her fault. Right. She's got anxiety and she's scared to death. But the sitters also didn't want to be eaten.
Her dad is single because he can't bring a date home.
Right.
I love her dad because, yes, he can't bring a date home, so he just doesn't.
So he's giving up a social life. And
giving up his life for the cat. Yes.
I would say with most of mine, there's usually a strategy where we're not at the broom, but I do have a couple of clients where it doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees out. I wear jeans so they can't get my ankles.
Oh, yes.
And I do tend to carry a big tote bag that I just will like put in front of my legs as I walk in. So if they're going to come at something, they're not going to come at me.
We used to tell sitters to do that. Yes.
And I also ask clients if they tell me that their cat is difficult or might get aggressive. I'm like, well, what works? Because sometimes it's just speak calmly. Sometimes it's move quickly and just get out. Sometimes it's treats will work. Sometimes it's, well, she's clicker trained with me, so just keep making the clicker noise. Some of them, water, a spray bottle, super easy. Some, it'll make them more angry. So I have to ask those questions, but I have to know I need to ask those questions.
You have people that make you use a spray bottle? That's so bad. From a behavioral standpoint.
Because it just makes the cat angrier. But so occasionally I do have that. But really, I actually have a difficult one later today, and she's clicker trained. She just doesn't like anyone but her people. Sure. But if I go in and I click and I give her treats, it keeps her busy enough that while I have to be on my toes, it's fine.
Yes.
And I think people think that cats either can't be trained.
Yeah.
Or that difficult cats can't be trained. But if you have a difficult cat and can train it, even if it only responds to you, it gives us something to work with as a sitter.
I had a client that I would sit here in the Carolinas, and he had been a neighborhood cat. Somebody had kicked out, and then the people moved here from Connecticut. I think they brought the cat. The wife was afraid of TJ. I was the only one who could handle TJ, but I learned I had to walk slow. Because if I walked too fast, he would grab my ankles. So we think somebody kicked him or something. And then they told me, don't take your shoes off in the house because he will attack your feet. So I always take my shoes off when I do a pet sit just so I don't trot. I had to go against that natural tendency and keep my shoes on. So
yeah, I always ask on meet and greets. I'm like, would you like me to take my shoes off? Because it's not a very consistent value in New York. And it's actually a really good way to find out if the cat's going to go for my feet.
True.
Well, and that's what I wanted to bring up. You said when we were emailing back and forth and talking about getting you on here, you said, I wish people would warn me about behavior issues. And you were very understanding about why people don't. And I get it. If I was Pepper's mama, like, do I want to say, hi, Racheline, I'd really like you to come sit. By the way, Pepper is, behaves like demon spawn for anyone but me and will try to eat your face. So what time will you be here? Right? Like, I don't want to do this, but I'm crippling you and I am ruining your chances of having a positive experience with my cat if I don't warn you ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want your list of what I've got cats. Actually, I have 11. Are you ready? She's got 19.
That's amazing.
Better choice than her. But don't try this at home. But I'm going to have you come sit for me. What do you want me to do? Tell you? How do I prepare? What sets up the best possible scenario for you coming into my house?
One of the best things is to try to be organized. Like the way that we care for our pets, we don't really think about it. But I need somebody who's going to explain to me where the litter is, where the food is, and what the cat needs. And a lot of people haven't thought through how to tell another person that till I arrive. And that can be chaotic. And even though I take notes, it can be very difficult to make sure I know what the cat needs and the order the cat needs it. I always want to know how the cat relates to food because some cats have a lot of food aggression. Sure. In that case, I need to prepare the meal on the counter and put the meal down versus just putting the food in the bowl where the cat eats because the cat may get aggressive with me there or be unhappy. So those are two things I need to know.
Good.
I also need to know if the cat tends to eat very fast and then throw up because I want to know that that's like a totally ordinary thing that I don't need to bother them about if it happens, because if their cat is a cat that never does that, that's also a question. And then any sort of aggression or territorialness. And for some cats, that's the apartment is the territory. It's going to feel challenged by anyone, but sometimes that's, oh, this cat isn't aggressive unless you look it right in the eye. And some cats love eye contact and some cats freak out at eye contact.
Yes. Yeah. We try to tell people,
into their eyes.
Staring at a cat in the eyes is a predator behavior. So you gotta blink and
But some will not even take the blink. They're like, your face is in my direction. No. Right.
Oh, look at me.
I love those cats that love you right away.
Yeah, so there's stuff like that. And then there's also things where, I have a lot of cats that take medication and I'm very good at pilling a cat. But occasionally somebody will say something like, oh, this cat's so easy to pill. He loves when you turn the water on in the bathroom sink and he leaps up on the bathroom sink and you can just give him a pill. And I actually took that advice the first time from this client, but I don't know this cat. He's very gentle, totally lovely cat. But I still don't know how his mouth works and how he reacts to me. I fumble the pill, it lands in the sink and dissolves. Nobody needs that. So, just the sense of, okay, how do you pill the cat? Why do you pill the cat this way? Because it can be, I tried this other method and it went wrong, in which case I will not try that method. Or it can be, oh, it's just what works for us, which may not be what works for me and that cat.
True. Yes. And very important that they tell you that. We had a lot of insulin, any kind of needle med cats that the people are like, no, I feed him wet food and while he's eating, I stab him in the rump and he has no idea. And he just misses it all. And so that's really important to know because if a sitter, who's very experienced in insulin's been doing it for 20 years or whatever, comes and picks the cat up and tries to do a needle med, they might have a real problem on their hands. Like, this is not how it's done, honey. It's how I've done every other cat. It's how I do my cats, but that's not necessarily going to work for that cat.
I had an insulin cat problem, Otto, and this gal, she didn't warn me because he was fine at the meeting, right, the meet and greet, and she didn't warn me. I even was able to give him a shot. When she was gone, he became a totally different, very aggressive, meet me at the door, snarling, looked like a bulldog kind of cat. I could not give the shot. And I told her when you get back, I can't sit for him anymore and she started bawling because she'd been through so many. So long story short, what we ended up doing was for a while, we put this cat on a pill type of insulin, which is not as good, but only when I sat. So I put it in the treat and he ate it got used to him letting me pet him and, love him that way, as he got to know me. Then eventually I was able to switch to shots. So if an owner is honest at first, you can find ways to work around and solve a problem if they're willing to work with you.
You need to
be
prepared.
Absolutely. And, medication is serious. And then the other thing I always ask with meds, and I've never really had a fail with getting a med in a cat, but I've had some that have come close. So I'm always like,
fails.
So I'm like, is this med a matter of life and death? Or is this med a low key maintenance thing? And if we can't do it, is it better to let it go? So I always want to know what level of urgency I'm at, because I don't necessarily want to stress a cat out over something that is not incredibly essential. If the cat is freaking out, if it's insulin, we get it done because it needs to get done.
Exactly. That's the big fear.
In my opinion, probably the hardest type of medication to give a cat is subcutaneous fluids. Do you do a lot of that? I only have one or two, and in both cases they're cats I had worked with for a long time before they needed fluids. Oh, well, that's good. That makes a difference.
It's been a very easy transition.
Good.
I haven't actually had one where it was like first time. That's what's happening.
Well, take a cat you don't know, and unless it's a super cuddly, I'm going to sit in your lap and love you, which we both have those cats, but we've also got the other cats, and you've got to hold them still long enough. It's not like an insulin one and done. You got to hold them while that bag goes in. And
we had one client that would request 2 sitters come to do the sub-Q because he knew his cat wasn't going to be, once I got him into position, but she squirmed a lot. There was no way one sitter could hold. So he was willing to pay for the extra sitter fee to have 2 come. When you're not available, do you have a backup that you work with, that you back up each other?
I do. There's another Meowtel sitter named Caitlin, who I just moved to the neighborhood I'm in now. And she just moved from this neighborhood to my old neighborhood.
Oh, how funny is that? You switched client lists.
We've been switching clients that we can bear to part with, and we've been backing each other up when there's holidays or whatever.
That's
been going really, really well, and
smart.
has been fantastic. And then we usually have intel on each other's clients, and stuff like that. And I've actually sat for her cats when she's been away also.
That's good.
So we sit
Awesome.
for each other. So it's, we know we can recommend each other because we know how we've treated each other's animals.
Well, and that's good too. We always like to pair. We started doing that kind of towards the end, pair up so that, and send 2 to a meet and greet, especially if it was a long one. Like we had client at LA, we've got people in the industry who are going away for 3 months. And I can't guarantee you that Racheline will be able to come every day for 3 months. She might get sick. She might have an emergency. She might have a family member problem. You don't know. So we always tried to have somebody that, God forbid, something all of a sudden happened. It's like, it's okay. You already met so-and-so and she'll be there.
Especially in LA, almost everybody's trying to get into showbiz. So if you get your big break, you better have a backup. Right?
Yeah. Time to go. It's time to go.
Here, I have had clients who've been away for like 3 weeks sometimes, and the other thing that I'm mindful of, you mentioned this in passing, I'm a figure skater, and I have gotten seriously hurt skating a couple times, and I didn't have cat clients at those times. But, I do go to the rink, I skate for a bit, and then I go see a cat. And God forbid, it's one of the times I get hurt, somebody would have to step in because I can't go see a cat, 20 minutes after I've broken my wrist, which I have in fact done. So,
I always wanted to ice skate. I was a roller skater as a kid, but I've never ice skated in my life. But I'm just too afraid. And I love watching. It's the only thing in the Olympics I watch. I love figure skating. I'm obsessed. It's so beautiful, and I would
so
love.
Hard.
But
it's
I have
so
no doubt.
hard.
And I'm sure I would break.
As a kid,
yeah.
I started this as an adult at 46.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been skating for 3 years now.
I'm sorry. Does she look 46 to you now?
I'm 49 now, but
I thought you're like 30, 32.
Yeah. No. So, but skating is...
It's the New York cold, I'm telling you.
It is the cold, yes.
It's the cold. And it's the fact that we walk everywhere, we get exercise whether we want to or not.
True.
Here, I live in the middle of nowhere. I can't walk to a store or anything.
Well, there's no sidewalks or anything. You take your life into your own hand walking out. Yeah, exactly. It's a little cul-de-sac in the back and with woods. And I wouldn't do it. But
I have just a couple of questions. How did you first get involved in cat sitting? Did you have another career that you did? How did you do it?
I have been working as a freelance writer for years and years and years now. And I also write fiction. I'm a romance novelist, and I have a co-writer who lives in upstate New York. But, when you write freelance, when you write novels, the ebb and flow of income is really out of whack.
We know that.
And I had just taken up figure skating, which is an incredibly expensive sport. And I said to myself, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need an income stream just to pay for skating. And I'm not a dog person. I didn't grow up with dogs. I don't know how they work. I totally know everything about cats.
Yeah, we're the same.
So I was sort of like, oh, well, maybe I could do pet sitting. And I was looking at Rover, which is very dog focused.
Yes.
And I was just
Look at the name, Rover.
Yeah.
Right. And it didn't seem like a good fit. And then I don't know, in a Google or something, Meowtel came up. I was like, well, this looks like it might work. And then I signed up and went through the whole interview process, which is actually pretty lengthy. And I had started in September. So I got in right before that holiday rush. And I was like, this is crazy money and way more fun than anything else I'm doing to make money. So it pays so far beyond what I needed to pay for figure skating. And figure skating is, again, horrifically expensive sport. Like what people pay for rent in other cities is what I spend skating.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But no,
it's like having a second house or something, like having a mortgage.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And also at that period of time, we were starting to think about buying a house and whatever. So Meowtel was just like the right thing at the right time. I love cats, and I also really love people. And I don't think most people understand how much of what I do involves reassuring the humans. Like the cats and I are fine, but the humans haven't been away. They're nervous. They have someone in their space. They don't know what their cat's going to do. Everyone has a different sense of humor. Everybody has a different level of anxiety. Like I have to be a different person for every client. With the cats, I can be very consistent, and then we just figure out how it works. But with people, some people want to hear that every time I photograph their cat, he looks like he's walking away from an explosion and is like a master criminal. And some people just want to know that he's good and sweet and fluffy and ate all his food. And some want intense details about what's happening in the litter box. And some people just want to know I cleaned it.
Send pictures of it clean and send pictures of the bowl and how much he ate. And been there.
So all of that and all of that sort of navigating people and what they need is super interesting. And I also think that in New York City, we mostly live in very small spaces.
That's true.
We often have shared situations. So I'll sit for cats where there's a roommate, but the roommate is not, and roommate's home.
We've done some of that in LA.
Yeah, but the roommate isn't primarily responsible for the cat, or the cat takes chemotherapy pills. So it's just very important that doesn't become the roommate's, burden there. So just things like that. So I am in spaces that are small and cramped and that we all have feelings about, because of what real estate is here. So there's a lot of building trust with people. As well as cats. Also, people hire me when they're home. I've had people hire me because they work at home and they have kittens and they have an important meeting. They're like, please play with the kittens so I don't totally mess up this job interview because they're screaming outside my bedroom door. I had somebody else who was pilling her cat for the first time and couldn't do it. And then the cat crawled inside her couch and we had to, so I had to go over and flip her couch over. And the cat was still in her couch. And then she said to me, well, I'm not really upset because we're replacing the couch soon. I'm like, how soon are you replacing the couch? She's like, oh, in 3 days. I'm like, do you care if we cut the couch open?
Surgery.
And we actually cut her couch open to get the cat out.
What you have to do,
Could you
right?
imagine if that had been the new sofa the cat was in?
Right, exactly. So there are a lot of times where I am actually having a great deal of interaction with the owner. And then because I do work with super seniors and ill cats, I do have a lot of clients that have experienced bereavement with their cats. I do have a lot of cat clients that have passed away, and that's very hard. And many people, have multiple cats. So I am continuing to see their remaining cats and deal with them. But you have to really sort of find a way to do that. What I try to do is I bundle photo, because I don't send them all the photos I take of cats, because you get like blurry photos, bad photos.
Right.
Then I bundle all the photos of the deceased cat onto a drive, and then I'll pass that on, because I usually have extras.
I've done that for a
That's
client,
so
too.
sweet.
See,
And
I wish our sitters had been the hardest thing we had when we were bringing sitters on board. We were a little different than Meowtel, but they were still independent contractors. But the hardest thing was them understanding that it's a people business. The minute we had somebody apply that said they want to do this because they don't like people, we didn't interview them, because it is such an important component. And most of what you do is reassuring the human that, yeah, you can go on vacation. Yes, it's okay to leave your cat and he's going to be fine.
And they're nervous.
Right,
and I'll tell you, so Rita and I went to a pet sitting conference one year in Virginia, close to Washington, D.C. area. We were both places. And I remember sitting at dinner with her, and all of a sudden she's, Barb should have been there by now. I haven't gotten any pictures. And when she finally got those pictures, everything changed. And she's like, oh, look.
Well, at that point, I think I had 17.
Yeah. And oh, look, this one's loving on her. That never, oh my gosh, look. And then we could eat dinner and enjoy the rest of our night and do whatever we were going to do and sightsee and have a blast. Until those pictures came through, she's just on edge. Like, I don't even think she's eating.
That's what I'm like. My partner is very chill about it when we travel, but I'm like, yesterday I got the pictures at 1. It's 4. I don't have the pictures, and it's fine because like my cats are very low maintenance, both personality wise and medically. So I'm always like, yeah, just come when you can come. But I still start to get crazy about it.
Yes.
I didn't get photos of all the cats because there's some of mine that, like Brownie, would never show up for anyone.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if you'll even see Brownie.
Yeah, I saw Brownie on the bed last night,
did?
but that's
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, he was on the bed last night. She was on the bed last night. But yeah,
So I know we're going a little over time, but
Yes.
that's okay.
We could talk to you for days. I'm
I
telling
know.
you, this is,
I
yeah.
want to give you like an opportunity to say, like, if you could really tell a client the best way, the best setup to leave for you, because I've been into houses with no toilet paper, no paper towels, no Scoopy bags, no litter. Do you have a checklist, or if in your dreams, would you have a checklist to say, these are the things I really need you to leave for me? What would be on that list?
I really like just a very detailed instruction sheet. I don't care if it's a printout. I don't care if it's an email. There's forms on Meowtel to do that. Just people actually filling out that information is incredibly handy. I also want to know what their key situation is. Do I have the only duplicate, or is someone else around if something goes wrong?
Keys were the bane of our existence.
Yeah, because even if everyone does everything right, things still happen.
Oh, we had a sitter pull the door shut, didn't realize it locked behind her. And she's like, okay, so my purse is in there, the key's in there, and I can't get back in to take care of the cat. So we had to call the client on vacation. No, there's no duplicate key. We had to call a locksmith.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was
so
not
I always
fun.
want to know what level of key jeopardy I'm in. Also, it's great to keep everything the same for the cat in terms of where their feeding station is or whatever. But if it's in a very tight space, if it's somewhere where the cat could feel cornered if I'm doing something, the person should consider moving it a few days before they travel so the cat gets used to a new location, and that gives me and the cat more breathing room so everybody's a lot more comfortable. Leaving food out and visible, let me know where the litter is. Have plastic bags. In New York, we used to get plastic bags every time we went to a bodega.
You gotta
and
pay
we
for
have
them
a
now.
plastic. Right. No, you can't even get them. There's a ban.
You're kidding. In LA,
You can only get paper.
Wow.
So it used to be that in every house I just went under the sink, you knew there were plastic bags. So now I carry the little doggy do bags everywhere.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
what I
smart.
started
But in
doing.
general, if clients have those and are prepared with those, because we all don't have bags the way we used to, which is, sort of hilarious. Also, I want to know where your dustpan is. I want to know where your paper towels are, because even if your cat does nothing gross and is completely perfect, they will kick litter somewhere.
Sure. I've been in houses where there's a broom and no dustpan.
Right?
I put this in,
So I have
yes.
to wet a paper towel and scoop up the,
Yes.
Yeah. So
Allergies too. I think that was a big one. Sitters liked, if the cat didn't have treats or something, sitters to warm up to the cat would want to bring treats and things. And then we find out, oh no, my cat's allergic to Temptations. Right. Exactly. So let us know what we can do and what we can't do and
the other thing, and that's also true with toys, because there's like those video like watch the mice things that are online.
Yeah.
And I made a mistake once that I played it for a cat I had seen multiple times, and we had a great relationship, and I thought she'd be totally into it. She lives on the top floor. There's a skylight, and she heard the little noises from my phone, and she thought like birds were trying to break into that apartment or something. And she was climbing the furniture, which I'd never seen her do, and staring at the ceiling, screaming for like 10 minutes after I turned it off. And I was like, I'm so oddly enough, also a cat named Pepper. I'm like, Pepper, I'm so sorry.
All peppers are
peppers.
spicy.
But I always triple check with clients about what is your cat like? What is your cat not like? Is it okay if I try something new with your cat, or do you not want me to do that? Because sometimes it can provoke a reaction that, Pepper's fine. She's recovered. She no longer thinks birds are breaking into her house. But she had 10 minutes that weren't super fun, and I feel bad about it. So I do always check with clients about
We're going to have
like
to think about that. Some of our behavior clients, we recommend that they run those.
That doesn't have the sound. So I like, and we had the owner on our show. I like Relax My Cat. You can put it on YouTube. So I like to put it on my TV, especially if I'm going to be leaving, if I know something's stressful, if I really need to focus on work and I need these cats to watch something else. So it has relaxing cat music and video of birds and fish aquarium. And they love it because there's
YouTube or relaxmycat.com.
Yes.
That's awesome. Because I have a client who, in the name of relaxing his cat, asks me to play Office marathons from Netflix. We put The Office on, and the cats watch The Office all day.
That's
not
hilarious.
other TV shows, specifically The Office. I don't know why, but that's what they love.
Yeah, they have a 24/7 live thing on that YouTube. There are subscription ones too. I just run the free one and it's fine. But
That's
so
awesome.
I found a lookalike. It wasn't Relax My Cat. It was another one. And I put it on. And I thought, well, let's try this. It had chipmunks on it, and Shadow saw it and all of a sudden leaped up and slammed into my tongue. And I'm like, what's happening? It wanted that chipmunk. So I was like, we're going back to Relax My Cat now. Yeah, you're never putting those
Yeah, you have
chipmunks on
no
again.
idea. You just have no idea. So
Test it out. Yes.
There's
yes.
also, if any of your clients have a Echo Dot, Music for Cats, it's by David Ty, who's a symphonic cellist. If you just say, I can't. Oh,
I say she's on.
You just say, Alexa, play Music for Cats by David Ty. She'll play, and it's very relaxing.
Yes.
It's nothing that you would dance to or anything, and it's kind of, some of the sounds are strange. You hear some purring and meowing every now and then, but it works. It
But
really
he
helps
looked
the
into the
cats relax.
science behind what tones, because, they don't like some tones or they like others, and will relax them. And when I had to integrate my daughter's 4 with my 7 to get to 11, I would have my Alexa in the living room, in the dining room, and the kitchen playing David Ty's music all night long to keep everybody chilled out.
that's awesome. That's hilarious. I haven't actually taken that approach, and I'm integrating a cat now.
Sounds like she might need a bottle of Convivial.
Yeah, and a bottle of Convivial. Yeah, I'll have to talk about that after. Yeah.
We have to wrap up. Unfortunately, we're like way over time.
I know.
We would love to have you back on and tell people what part of New York City you do and how they can find you.
Sure thing. They can find me on Meowtel. I'm under Finicky Felines because I do deal with the slightly challenging cats. I mostly serve Crown Heights and Bed-Stuy now, but I do also take clients in Park Slope and Gowanus.
Wonderful.
That's
great.
amazing. Oh, we love and respect anybody who loves cats and does cats. And these people do not understand how difficult of a job, rewarding and wonderful, but difficult. But going after the behaviorally challenged and those super seniors.
They're the ones
we
who
love
need
you.
it, and they're the ones that it's hardest to find sitters for. And, people should be able to take vacations.
That's what Rita said. Now that she's got, her sitter doesn't do needle meds, and she just adopted a cat that was 15 and needs insulin twice a day, and the owner couldn't handle it anymore, so she took him in. That's why she has 19 cats.
We're going to have to
So-
teach her daughter, Nikki, and she'll come help.
Yeah.
So
She's
we're gonna
like,
do
well,
some
I guess I'm not
videos.
coming to Ohio to see you ever.
Here, we're going to do some videos to teach people how to do insulin shots, sub-Q fluids. I've got one cat that needs an antibiotic shot and one that
B12.
gets B12. So we're going to record all those to give people.
Awesome. I have a cat that gets an inhaler. That's also been a super interesting discovery, but he's super good about it.
That's awesome. That was something that really exploded when we had Just for Cats.
Yeah.
When I first started in, nobody had. And then all of a sudden somebody had, and I was like, there's an inhaler for cats. And by the time we sold to Meowtel, we had a bunch of cats that needed
we had 8 or
inhalers.
10.
I blamed it on LA's smog, but
Yeah,
New York isn't
then
any.
we
Yeah.
started getting them here.
Yeah. True.
Well,
yeah.
I hate to cut us
So,
off.
all right,
We're
yes.
way
Okay.
over, but
I keep
Racheline, I
forgetting.
wanted to, from the benefit of my 17 years of experience as a pet sitter, make sure you build in some time for you so you don't burn yourself out. because this is a business with a high turnover and burnout rate if you don't plan for it.
It is super true. This year is, again, because of COVID, the first year I'm taking vacation. So that's actually been really nice.
You have to. Yes. Good
You really
girl.
do. You really do. Well, thank you so much for being with us. We'd love to have you back on again. Maybe after the holidays, you can tell us how you fared over the holidays.
Okay.
I'm excited because this is the first real holiday I'm going to have in all these years.
We're so excited.
Congratulations. That is
We're
very
so
exciting.
excited.
Too.
Yes.
She's actually going to put up a tree this year.
I'm so excited. I can't stand it. I might even go to church on Christmas Eve.
No, we're going to actually end up going another 10 minutes over.
All right. Yeah,
So-
Mark's going to kill us.
This is so fun doing this in person, Linda, but I think the danger is we could probably talk all
We
day.
can, yeah, huh? True story.
And Mark Winter, I always have to thank our awesome producer who gave us this spot on Pet Life Radio.
Yes.
He always does such a great job editing these for us. Thank you so much. And never forget, it's not just Saturday, but every day's counter day. We'll see you next time.
Let's Talk Pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.